Right, we're on the set of Guido, doing stop frame animation of a scene where he's looking at his phone. So if you look, I've got the camera set up over here. If you move the camera over there, just have a look at that. I need to back up a bit. With a long lens on it, so that I can basically get in front of the camera to animate, because I found that with the camera in front of the set I couldn't get in here where I need to be to animate. Here I've basically got a little keypad that allows me to trigger the shutter out of the way, because obviously I don't want to be stood here because I'll block that camera. So if I've got a little mat here, so when I stand here I know that I'm in the clear and I can hit this shutter. I don't know what you're laughing about. Right, so I'm going to animate a frame. If you just pass me the camera, sorry. Just pass me that. Cheers. Right, so this is what I've got. Oh, try and get out of there. This is what I've got at the moment, and you can see if I put my hand in there, it's cutting between the last frame and the new frame. So yeah, basically I'll animate 1/24 of a second. So there you go. So basically what I'm going to do to start with is, the main points I need to focus on are his hand, because really I need that little finger to stay where it is and be stationary, because that's the pivot point for his hand to move down onto the table. So I'll start with his head, so I'm going to move it a tiny bit. So I'm always looking at this screen down here, cutting between the two frames to see how much I'm moving it. So there you go. And then for the fingers, literally it's just that movement, and then adjusting it a tiny bit by pushing the fingers along back into position to line them up with the last frame. Yeah, and just put that thumb down a tiny bit as well. Yeah, that looks good. So now onto the eyebrows. Basically he's going to get angry, so I'm just going to move his eyebrows slightly up at the edges. And they're pinned into his head, so they can pivot quite nicely in there. Maybe a little bit more on that eyebrow. So there you go. And I'm just going to move the moustache slightly as well. Oh. So now if I just borrow that camera again, if I just borrow that off you. Thank you. Oh. Right. You'll see. There you go. The difference in frame is absolutely tiny. There you go. So now to animate the eyes, this is the tricky bit. Yeah, you might want to zoom for this bit, because it's a bit tricky. So basically, because of this puppet and the eyes don't roll particularly well in the head, I have to go in with this tool, and just on the edge it's got a tiny little hook. So when I put it in the eye socket, it just hooks on and pulls it out like that. So I don't know if you can see that. And then literally to reposition it, I just roll it out a little bit. Oh. And then push it back into the head. Like so. wait for the silicone to kind of grab onto that. And then check it and then just adjust it slightly so that it's not too big a movement from the last frame. Pushing it in that side. And bring it out a little bit more. Push it in again. So then if you look at, I'll just bite that again, so if you look on this screen, you can see the eye animating there. So now I need to match the other one, which is the same process. Trying to make me laugh. Serious business. So pulling that eye out of the socket again. So that's the eye there, so it's tiny, fiddly to reposition and push that in. So there you go, and then because I've moved the head quite a lot, I need to reposition it back to where I intended it to be originally, and then readjust the fingers a little bit as well, just to tidy them up. So that's it. So if you see, I'll borrow this again. So if you see there, that's the final frame difference. So then I literally just make sure I'm on the mat, on my little mat over here. My feet are on the mat, I'm out of the way of that giant lens, and then just hit enter. And that triggers the camera, and that's a frame. So if I borrow that, I'll show you the sequence so far with that new frame added on the end. Okay, thank you for watching. William Powell and Guido.